Hello, 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 hello. Hi, everyone. We're live on YouTube again. I'll talk about this in Untangled tomorrow. Um, but I'm going to talk all about how I literally came out of such a dark night of the soul the last week and a half. Oh my God, I went dark. I went down into the dungeons of I'm going to die again, and came out in such a beautiful state, in such a beautiful place, and just so charged up to share more teachings with you guys. So I'm really excited about this topic today. Thank you for joining me live. I, yeah, I just have a lot of excitement around um, where we're at right now as a human collective, the deeper remembrance, and exploring it and getting dirty in it, and just remembering. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Melissa, Carl, Ash, Astrid, Louisa, Hi, Becky, Yoga Joe Guy. Hi, Yoga Joe Guy, Genki, Karen, Melanie, Kay, Kelly, Alive Thrive, Lori, Blooming Soul, Dale, Tracy, Wesley, hello, Julie, Thomas, all of you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Let's dive in. Let's dive in. Get your notepads out, because there might be some gems that are going to drop in that you're going to want to remember. Excuse my hair. I'm literally fresh out of my first yoga class in a long time. All right. Let's go. Let's do this. It's not part of my book series. However, it is part of the Divine Design book. So it's completely connected to and correlated with my book. If you have not gotten the Divine Design, now is the time to get this freaking book. Excuse my fingernail painting. If there is ever a time, it's right now, and then it's tomorrow, and it's the next day, and it's the next day, and it's the next day. This is the Bible of getting us through the remembrance of what we're doing here on the planet. So get this book. The link is down below in the description. Get it an audiobook. I highly recommend it. This is about your history with Earth and humanity as the amazing, badass spirit, soul, consciousness, light being that you are, God that you are, that courageously decided to come down at this time. I don't know why you did, but you did. I do know why you did. You know why you did. And what a ride we are on. Okay, let's go. All right. So we're going to be talking today about something that happened to me in 2018. It was the initial moment where this book was downloaded to me, and it happened on Machu Picchu. And it was a moment in my life that I will never forget, because it was the moment that I was downloaded this information from these higher dimensional beings, and they showed me what took place on this planet around 5,000, 6,000 linear years ago. And they were showing me specifically what happened on Machu Picchu. But this happened for thousands and thousands of years before Machu Picchu was there. And it's the time period where all of these really powerful ancient civilizations were birthed onto the planet, right? And many of these ancient civilizations that were all over the world were built using stones, almost all of them. And I'll talk about why they were mostly built with stone in a little bit. But these civilizations were mind-blowing, where they were, how they were designed. This was around the same period that many of the ancient pyramids were created. And you have structures like Stonehenge. Regardless of what kind of story you have around Stonehenge, these places on the planet that defy logic. There's thousands of people, I'm sure, that are speaking about what this is and how it got here. But I want to take you back to a memory that you have in your soul as to what happened on this planet with these ancient civilizations and these galactic beings. And as I'm speaking, I want you to see if this information can just drop into your body, awaken something. Because if you are suffering, if you are struggling, if you are confused, if you are having dark nights of the soul, if you are wondering why you're here, um, let this be a reminder as to why you're here. Because the times that we are in now are 10,000 times more intense than what humanity went through 5 or 6,000 years ago. Let's begin though. So 2018, I was on a bus going up to Machu Picchu. I had no information about what was about to come through. And when I am driving up the road, if anybody has been to Machu Picchu, the road is very windy. Takes about 45 minutes to go, like, I don't know, a mile maybe. You can walk the stairs straight up to Machu Picchu. Uh, so it's not very far, but the windy path is very, very windy. And then Machu Picchu just sits on this outcropping of this rock. And it's like there's vast openness between this mountaintop where Machu Picchu is and other mountains. So you're kind of like, feels like you're floating. And it's this ancient city that was built, of course, with rock. And as I'm going up this road, my body starts to move into a very, 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 very high frequency. It starts buzzing. And these energies come in, these voices come in, and they tell me that I'm about to write a book about the history of Earth and humanity. And that I will be talking about it around the world. And it's our history. It's humanity's history. And I said, okay, whatever. And then they said, we need you to go sit in a specific location in Machu Picchu, and you'll know when you get there. And if you saw the thumbnail of this live, that thumbnail is an aerial view of where I was sitting, because, Machu Picchu is kind of big and there's all these little areas that you can go into. If you've been to Machu Picchu, the area that they had me sit in was, I don't know what it's called, but it's the opening where it all opens up and there's just this really big field of grass. Thank you, Magic Dance, for that super chat. And there's this big rock that's right in the middle of the field. It's not even a field. It's like this this grassy knoll kind of thing. And then it just drops out into the abyss, just open. And they said, sit right here. And so I sat down and I closed my eyes. And here's what they said, because this was not written in the book. They said, Machu Picchu was built by us, and us being the Galactic Federation of Light, or higher dimensional light beings. And if you are questioning this, I just want you to ask yourself a couple of questions, right? It's very interesting that we don't have these amazing structures being built now. We have this incredible technology, and yet somehow we cannot replicate structures that were experienced like Machu Picchu. It's just impossible. We cannot recreate pyramids. We cannot recreate the ways in which these rocks were placed and built. It just isn't happening now. And if there was ever a time that we would be creating these magnificent structures and portals, you would think that it would be now. And so back then, there was assistance from outside of the planetary body by non-physical beings. And here is what they shared. Around 5,000 years ago, 5 or 6,000 years ago, give or take, the planetary body was in a high frequency, very similar to the frequency that the planet's at right now. Humanity was in a higher frequency. There was a percentage of humanity that was at a frequency even higher than we are right now. And because we are in an evolutionary shift in consciousness, which means that the physical body is physically shifting frequencies, so it's continuing to anchor more light and move into higher dimensional fields, it's very, very difficult. And it's what we are experiencing, and it is an experiment. This is all an experiment that Earth chose to have. And you knew this coming in. Every soul knows this. So around 5 or 6,000 years ago, what they showed me was these higher dimensional beings started to come down onto the Earth plane, literally onto the Earth the planet. They they lowered their vibration, and they started to create and build these places that you call ancient civilizations, like in Machu Picchu. And they built them using rock because rock can anchor very high frequency, much better than any other matter. And so they started to build these structures, and then they sent out calls energetically, and humans began to find themselves intuitively being called to these places on the planet that just were there. And these ancient civilizations like Machu Picchu and the pyramids, etc., were like schools, but they weren't schools with humans. They were schools with higher dimensional light beings. And so instead of thinking about like mystery schools back in the day that the masters actually physically experienced and sat in, or even etherically went to, these were actual schools of evolution or ascension on the physical planet, created by higher dimensional beings in order to assist the human body in anchoring and moving into higher frequencies, which is what you're doing right now, which is what the entire planet is doing. Whether there is a conscious awareness around this or not, it doesn't matter. It's what's happening. And so there was this beautiful image that they showed me in Machu Picchu, where, again, if you go back to the thumbnail, once this is over, you can look. This grass cropping, there's like there's a big rock, and the rock was much bigger. It broke over time. It was huge rock wall. And what would happen is these galactic ships would come, and they would you have to slow your vibration down in order to move into a physical reality. And that takes a lot of energy. Okay, so when they would slow their vibration down, their craft would physically appear. And so you have all of these regular, normal humans that have been intuitively called to come to this location, okay, that they ended up uh, uh, learning from, right? They would come there and they would learn these tools and techniques, and these galactic beings would come down, and they would physically stand in front of these humans, and they would begin to teach them how to do what you and I are doing right now blindly. So you and I are doing this blindly. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. We don't know why we're having all of the thoughts that we keep having. We don't know why we're continuing to find ourselves looping all of these things. We don't understand why, we'll move ourselves into some sort of higher vibrational state through meditation or some workshop. And then the next thing you know, you find yourself pummeled back into depression or the dark night of the soul, or all of these things that you and I are going through. This isn't about learning lessons, and it's not about self-help or any of this. This is an evolution in human consciousness, which means that the physical body is anchoring more and more light in order to move the physical body into higher dimensional fields. And it's a shit show right now because we forgot and we don't know what we're doing. So back then, thousands of years ago, when these amazing civilizations were literally almost magically appearing for the humans, they were schools. And so these galactic ships would move their vibration down, land, and then they would literally teach for a couple of hours, because that was linear time. That was all that the higher dimensional beings' bodies could handle. And what they would do is that they would assist the human bodies that were there participating, consciously choosing with free will to participate in this. They would assist these humans in raising their vibrational body a little bit, so that there could be a little bit more of a balancing of the energies. Because a third dimensional human body like you and I, it would be very, very difficult for that energetic field to stand in front of a higher dimensional galactic being or higher dimensional being, even if they brought their energy down, even if they slowed their energy down. The contrast of frequency is so drastic that it would be almost impossible. That's why you and I don't see these galactic beings that are helping us, okay? And they're helping us now from off planet, which is 10 times more difficult. And so these galactic beings were slowly, meticulously, with the humans that were slowly and meticulously learning how to anchor light into the body. They were learning how to be more of this soul embodied. They were learning how to have telepathy. They were learning how to feel energy, right? They were learning how to move objects. They were learning all of these things with these higher dimensional beings all the time. And so these galactic ships were arriving all over the planet in all of these amazing places in the world, and humans were being called, and they were learning. They made their home in these places, and their life became about the evolution in human consciousness. And it was a very small percentage of the human population, very much like right now, like you and I. But they had this reassurance and guidance from off planet. So they knew they weren't cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs or crazy. They were literally interacting and engaging with intelligence that was beyond their understanding and their own abilities. And it was slowly shifting the planet. Then we'll talk about what happened on Thursday about the fall that happened and how these civilizations were destroyed. Um, and why are you have to start to ask yourself, where did these civilizations go? What happened to these people? Why are they? Thank you, Louise Jabella, for the super chat. Really, really appreciate it. Where are they? Again, I would ask, why are we not seeing more of these structures being built on the planet, especially at a time when we are going through a massive evolutionary shift in consciousness, very similar, if not exactly similar, to 5,000 to 6,000 years ago? It's because now, at this time, based on what happened the last 6,000, 5,000 years, and I'll go into that on Thursday at 2 p.m. for my live that I'm doing. But energies came onto the planet and started to play with the evolution in consciousness. They started messing with the human experience. and they took over human bodies and they destroyed these civilizations. And so these galactic beings that were assisting, they knew what was happening, and they had two options. They had the first option, which is let's keep coming down and let's keep doing our best to assist humanity. Now, this has a high probability of getting more humans sort of destroyed or killed, hunted after. Basically, these humans that were um, infiltrated by these darker energies, um, they literally would not let these civilizations. Um, I was going to say profit, but continue to flourish. And so the galactic beings said, well, we can keep building these and keep calling humans into it intuitively, um, or we can step away and let the natural process of evolution unravel. And we can assist from the non-physical realms. And so that's what they chose to do. And so thousands of years later, we find ourselves in 2024. And the reason I want to share that story with you and perhaps hopefully activate some sort of remembrance within you is because what we are going through right now on this planet, March 4th, 2024, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, is the same evolution that humanity went through back then. But we are now doing it without any sort of physical assistance or guidance. So it's much more difficult. There's a reason back then in our history that we got that guidance and support. There is nothing easy. I don't care what you hear out there in the world, by what sort of whatever. There's nothing easy about alchemizing frequency and consciousness in a body. And it's literally the most challenging, humbling, profound, magical, miraculous experience that you will ever have as consciousness. Mark my words. You'll be on some other planet in some other dimensional field, and you'll remember, holy shit, I remember Earth. My God, was that a wild ride? You'll remember Earth. And what's so profound about this moment on the planet is, and the reason I believe wholeheartedly that remembrance is the most powerful tool that we have next to feeling. Remembrance. The remembrance of your history with this planet, your remembrance with the history of humanity, the remembrance of why your soul chose to come down, especially if you are battling being here. You simply have forgotten what you're doing. You have just simply forgotten how to do this. But what is so miraculous is that it is impossible, absolutely impossible for any soul that is in a human body right now to not have the remembrance of what happened 5,000 years ago, of what happened 5 million years ago, of what happened 2,000 years ago. No soul that you see face to face, eye to eye, body to body on this planet does not know the history of this earth and what is currently being experienced. Every single soul has that awareness when they come in. It's like I was telling my friend Becky today, I was like, it's like you're going to a Michael Jackson concert. I mean, I think almost everybody on the planet knows Michael Jackson. Maybe there's somebody more famous. I don't know. And you're walking into the Michael Jackson concert. Everybody knows they're about to walk into a Michael Jackson concert. No one's like, oh, I wonder if this is going to be Madonna. Like everyone knows that they're about to go see Michael Jackson. But what happens is as soon as you step into the arena, you completely forget what you're doing. You don't know who Michael Jackson is. You don't know what a concert is. You don't know how you got in there. You have complete amnesia. You don't have any money to buy food. You don't know how you're going to get out of there. You don't even know where the exit door is. You don't know how you even walked in. You're in a foreign land that 2 seconds ago you knew was a Michael Jackson concert. And now you have no memory and you are stuck there until you start remembering, holy shit, I'm in an arena. Wait a second. There's music playing. What? Wait a second. It's a person on stage. And all of a sudden, the memories start to come back. All of a sudden, you start to remember slowly but surely. And when you remember, you relax. It doesn't take away from the fact that you are in an arena. It doesn't take away from the fact that music is playing. It doesn't take away from the fact that you still have to exit out of the arena. It doesn't take away from the fact that there are millions of people in the arena. You are not leaving the arena. Awakening is not going anywhere. There is no other planet you're going on. The heaven or the 5D world that the spiritual community likes to talk about is right here in the arena. You just can't see it yet or experience it yet because you have forgotten. And the way into these other realms, these other ways of being is remembrance, which is remembering that you are soul and body. It's starting to remember and put the pieces together of what happened on this planet. That, my God, 5,000 years ago, they were getting assistance. Literal craft were arriving, landing. They were shifting their frequencies down. They were standing in front of people. They literally showed me that they would be teaching, like literally in groups. These incredible higher dimensional beings were standing with humans, teaching them. They were teaching them how to shift their frequency. They were teaching them they were teaching them how to master their thoughts. They were teaching them how to allow all emotion to move through. They were teaching them what you and I are literally meticulously pulling our hair out trying to remember every day, all day, in a constant cycle of forgetting. So on one level, although there were thousands of civilizations and millions of humans that were destroyed and killed back then, it was a horrific time on the planet. It was also one of the most miraculous and beautiful times on the planet because the evolution in consciousness was amplified. It was increasing. The frequency of the planet, its light quotient was rising. It's like the evolution, or whatever you want to call it, the awakening, the ascension was increasing at an exponential rate. And so here we find ourselves now, and we are quite courageously, as bad ass freaking souls that chose to be here, knowing that it was going to be quite a meticulous, that word keeps being come up, crawling through the battlefield. And there really isn't a handbook or a physical body like the higher dimensional beings that are going to teach you in the same way. You are here to teach yourself. we're here to teach ourselves. We're here to walk ourselves through it. We're here to remember how to do this. And you can't do it without the deep, deep embodiment of your soul, of your light, of who you are. So you could learn how to do telepathy, and you can learn how to, um, you know, master your thoughts in the sense of I'm going to control all my thoughts. Um, you can learn how to ease your pain by specific tools, perhaps. But that's not going to anchor in the physical reality of soul embodied. The What you're here to do is anchor down in the physical expression of soul embodied, which means that in every moment of your day, you will eventually find yourself living, walking, eating, breathing as this expression of soul. So, what these galactic beings were teaching humanity was how to access their soul in a physical form. So, they were teaching them all these amazing tools, right? But the core teaching was the remembrance and the embodiment of soul. And that is what is happening to you. Every limiting thought that's coming up, every emotional state, every behavior, every pattern, every dark night of the soul, every depressive moment, every relationship that ends, every relationship that starts, every job you lose, every job that you gain, every single thing that is occurring right now in your reality is gifting you an opportunity to embody soul. So it's going to ask you, is this who you are? It's unconsciously asking you in every moment, is this who you are? So if you had an opportunity to actually sit in front of beings that were non-physical beings that actually had a much deeper awareness, you would immediately be activated into this deeper remembrance of your soul, right? So we have these experiences a lot if you've gone to workshops or retreats, okay? And you can feel that you're in a different vibration or frequency. Um, you can just feel that you're in an altered state almost, right? And it feels very different. But what happens is that we leave the retreat or the workshop or the class or the course or whatever it is. This happens to all of us, and it has nothing to do with the teacher or the class or the course or any of that. This is just how the human experience works right now. You leave and then you go back home or you go back to regular life, and somehow that state of being starts to dissolve, starts to go away. You start to quote unquote lose it, right? It's where did it go? What happened? It's because no matter how many times you go and something brings you into that altered state, that higher frequency, it's like a little bypass into who you actually are. If you have not learned how to anchor it into your physical reality in every day, there's no point. And what is being asked of you is to anchor the soul into your physical reality, which means in all of your relationships, you are soul. In the relationship that you have with your mother and your father, you are soul. So if they are narcissistic, how are you being with them? You are a soul. How are you responding? How are you feeling? How are you negotiating and navigating it? If you are in relationships with people that are not treating you well, that is you being asked to be soul embodied. So how are you responding? How are you honoring the human in the role that you're playing as the human? How are you speaking? Um, are you kind? Are you compassionate? Are you aggressive? Are you mean? Are you manipulative? Um, in every moment that you are navigating the world, are the limiting thoughts dictating your reality? In every day of your world, when you go out into the world, what do you do when people are aggressive or when they are not nice or when there is things you see that you don't like? That is how you are being tested to be soul embodied. It's in life. There is no little key that you can turn where you can just vibrate your body into the frequency that your soul vibrates at. You have to practice every day, all day in the battlefield, in the arena. You have to practice with every thought, with every emotion, with every belief and behavior and pattern and program. You have to practice with every coping mechanism that you use to numb out. Every moment of every day is the opportunity and gift to practice what 5 to 6,000 years ago they were able to practice in a very, very potent physical way. They lived it. They lived it with these magical, magnificent, freaking beyond potent teachers, not of this world. And so they were able to, anchor it into their physical reality more easily. Even though you could say, well, they were separate from a lot of the world. Some of them were. Some of the civilizations were. Some of them weren't. Some of them were right next door to the rest of the world. You know, they weren't all secluded up on a mountaintop somewhere. And at this point in our evolution, you don't have a choice. You're here. You're in your job. You're in your city, in your town, in your apartment, in your house, in your van. You are where you are. So how are you going to be the badass warrior that you came here to be with the most amazing amount of compassion and kindness that you can have for yourself through the deep, deep remembrance of what's actually happening here on the planet and why you came? And you were handed the booklet of the history. You were told how it was going to be. And now you're here and you're saying, I made a mistake. I promise you, you didn't make a mistake. I promise you that for whatever reason, you thought this was a great idea. And I promise you that whatever you are in right now, you navigate through. But only you can bring yourself out of whatever you are currently in and going through and continuing to go through. Nobody is going to be able to do this for you. No one. You have to be able to remember in every moment who you are. And that you're not designed to stay in any looping patterns that you may find yourself in or have found yourself in for months or years And here is how you get out of that looping. First of all, you have to choose to see yourself moving through something and not stuck in something. I can't do it. Your friends can't do it. Your partner can't do that for you. Can you see that whatever you are in, you are moving through? It's a choice. It's one of the fundamental laws of this universe is that you are constantly in movement. And the only thing that keeps you in the illusion of being stuck is the belief or thought that you are stuck, which is a deep, powerful, massive lie. Energy is always in movement. It's always moving. Even if it's stuck in the body, it's still moving in the body. It's just not moving through. So the first thing you want to do all day long, if you are stuck in something, because you think you're stuck in something, is you have to remind yourself that you are you are moving through this. I'm moving through this. The other thing you have to start telling yourself is that every single thing that is happening in your life is an opportunity and a gift for your evolution. I don't care what it is you're going through. All of humanity is in their own, we're all in this unique smorgasbord of awakening. And there are some horrific things happening on the planet. And there are some amazing, beautiful, wow things happening on the planet. And then everything and anything in between. And the human that is, or the soul that is courageously awakening to everything, is being gifted an opportunity to see what they are in so that they can consciously step out of it. We cannot keep thinking that we're our thoughts, that we're the thoughts. It's just, that was like class 101 that the Galactics started teaching. First thing they started teaching humanity, the humans that were in these portals, these civilizations, is how to feel their body, how to feel energy. It was the very first thing they taught the humans. You have to be able to feel inside your body. It's number one. So for you, that means you're going to have to feel what's moving through your body. You're going to have to feel emotions. You're going to have to feel thought, which means be conscious of thought. You're going to have to feel what it feels like when you are with somebody. Does it feel good? Does it feel bad? What does this place feel like? You have to feel. Does my body feel heavy? Does my body feel light today? Does my body want to move? Does my body want to sleep? Does my body want this kind of food? Does my body want this? Like feeling in the body. And then the second thing they started teaching them was the power of thought. The power of thought, because when these humans would come into these areas with these galactic beings, here's another really like a really profound story. So if the humans thought was that they wouldn't be able to shift the frequency of their body a little bit, right? That if the human thought this isn't real, if the human thought I can't do this, if the human thought this is going to be difficult, whatever thought the human had, that would create the reality of that human in front of that galactic being. And it would literally stop that human from being able to stand and receive from the galactic being. So these higher dimensional beings, there's nothing they could do if the human had thoughts that blocked them from trusting what they were in. And so first the galactic beings had to uh, telepathically get the human. Thank you, Lizbeth, for that super chat. They had to telepathically, meaning into the human intuitively. Okay, so they were speaking to the human intuitively. The galactic beings weren't actually seen in the beginning. They had to intuitively get the human to feel their bodies, feel their vibration, feel their frequency, feel their body, feel everything. And so it was an invisible game in the beginning, which is what brought the humans to these parts of the land anyways. It was intuition, a pull. And so the human had to trust the intuition. They had to trust the calling. Like, why am I called to this land? Why am I hearing go into my body? Why am I hearing you've got to feel more? Right. So the human had to start opening to messages, guidance, intuition. And the humans that started allowing that to happen, trusting their bodies, trusting what they're hearing, relaxing into it, feeling things, etc. Then the galactic started saying, okay, now pay attention to your thoughts. We're standing here. Who's standing here? No, you're not. Blah, blah, blah. Right? This was months and years. This didn't happen overnight. This was a slow process that happened, but it happened. It started to happen. And so now, again, back to where we are today, where you and I are, we're doing this blindly. So you have perhaps other teachers that you listen to, or your own friends and family that you listen to that are helping you, or you are listening to yourself and helping you, right? Recognize that the thoughts aren't you. The emotions aren't you. The behaviors aren't you. The patterns aren't you. The physical illness isn't you. However, everything you're feeling is real. The human experience is real. All of it is very real. I'll say this again, the most incredible thing you will ever do as a soul, spirit, God, light, consciousness is be in this earth experience. It's beyond miraculous and mind-blowing what we are doing. It's exhausting, it's exhilarating, it's beautiful, it's ugly, it's easy, and it's hard. It's remembering and forgetting. It's duality, it's polarity. It's being in the arena, watching a Michael Jackson concert, completely forgetting that you're in an arena watching Michael Jackson. Oh my God, Ted Lasso is so good, Mike. You are so welcome for Ted Lasso. Oh, thank God for Ted Lasso. Jeez Louise, if you haven't watched Ted Lasso on Apple TV, go be the human and binge that shit. It is so good. It is so good. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to get going soon. Here's the thing. We're experiencing this human. We're experiencing Ted Lasso. We're experiencing breakups and heartbreak and not having enough money to pay our bills and narcissistic parents and friends, and we're experiencing all of it. Thank you, Miriam, for the super chat. We're experiencing it all. Doesn't go anywhere. It's here. You can't shut this off. You can't turn it off. Right? But you can start remembering more and more. You can start remembering more and more and more of what you're doing here and of who you are. And I can promise you, the more that you start remembering this, you're moving in flow. You're not thought, emotion, behavior, patterns, uh, programming. Just doing those two things have the potential to kind of really rattle you out of what you seem to feel like you're stuck in. You have to believe it. You have to believe it. You know, you have to believe this. Thank you, Suzanne, for the very generous super chat. Yoga Joga. Lori, I'm slowly learning how to feel. Remember, I was taught not to feel. Yes, if you are a Marine, oh, my heart goes out to you because, man, oh man, if you were in any sort of position where you were deeply programmed, like most humans are programmed to not feel. But then when you talk about the military in any country, it's a next level programming of not feeling. I mean, that is mind controlled to the 10th degree. And so you, you know, or let's just say you were raised in a really intense family where you were massively manipulated and mind controlled, right? You have to relearn how to feel, right? So simple ways of feeling is what I would recommend, because you can't just like start to try to feel emotion, right? That can create a lot of suffering here and efforting. But you can start to ask yourself when you're on the phone with somebody, how do you feel? You can just start to get curious about, how do you feel when you come home from work? Or how am I feeling at work right now? When you get up in the morning and you're about to head to work, how am I feeling right now? And for those of you that were massively, massively controlled and told not to feel and pulled out of your body and whatever else may have happened on this magical mystery ride of human, you may not know. It's like, I don't even know how I feel. Perfect. That's a beautiful place to start. At least you're aware that you don't know how to feel. That's much better than not realizing that you're not feeling. So the awareness that you're not feeling is massive. So you want to keep asking yourself, well, how do I feel right now listening to Lori? I don't know. I guess I feel calm or relaxed, Maybe you feel numb. Maybe you're just in your mind a lot. Anything is awareness. Anything that you're aware of is beautiful. Awareness is everything. Awareness of being numb is fucking fabulous, because at least you're aware. You're alive in your body. You're in your body. You're aware. You're feeling. I'm numb. What a gift. Most of us that are unconscious don't even realize that we're numb. We don't even realize that we're not feeling. We don't even realize we're not in the body. We're literally robotically going about life. Maybe something comes in, rattles us into a feeling state, like somebody yells at us, or we get fired, or something happens, an illness or a friend, whatever. We can get rattled into feeling states, right? But you are designed to feel all day long. All day long, you're in a feeling state. How do I know? Because you're in an energetic world, and energy is felt. So there's always some sort of energetic exchange that's happening every moment of every day of your life, because you're in an energetic world. Doesn't mean that you're always feeling emotions or you're always feeling intensities, but there is always some sort of experience of energy. And so if you're really disconnected and you really don't know how to feel, or you're learning how to feel again, first of all, bravo, way to go. You get a standing ovation. You should get flowers at your doorstep every day for coming back into your body and feeling. So bravo, bravo, bravo. And then just start asking yourself throughout your day during time, just when you're driving, how do I feel? And be okay with not knowing. Be okay with being, don't beat yourself up. Something's wrong with me because I'm not feeling. This teacher told me that I should be doing this, or I should be feeling this, or I should be. No, 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 no. We don't do that. We don't base ourselves on anything else that anyone else is saying. You know, no, 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 no. You are a unique expression of God, of your own unique expression of soul. You're doing it your way, which you don't maybe know how that way is or what that way is, but you're doing it and you're being it. You're navigating it. Oh, yeah, this will be at the retreat. By the way, for those of you here right now, I am doing a 3-day in-person retreat that's going to be mind-blowing, life-changing. Not because I'm gonna bring you into some high frequency and then you're gonna leave, and 6 months later, you're gonna be like, "I don't feel anything." Um, but because I'm gonna anchor you into this arena that you're in an even deeper way. We're gonna anchor in to who we are more and more, not through healing, not through looking at limiting beliefs. So if you want to do all that, it's probably not the retreat you want to go to. This retreat for 3 days, April 19th to the 21st in Boone, North Carolina, is going to be very, very different than probably most retreats you've gone to. Um, we will be anchoring in, activating, standing in, stepping in, um, shining out a deeper embodiment of soul. And yeah, the details are down below. Come visit, come be with us. April 19th, April 19th to the 21st. It's going to be incredible. If you have any intuitive, like, oh man, this is going to be something I need to go to, come. It's going to be amazing souls there that are very similar to you, going through this very similar thing. Very aware of my feelings, more and less thoughts. Great. The retreat is in Boone, North Carolina at the Art of Living Retreat Center, Boone, North Carolina, April 19th to the 21st. As in, we don't need to do any healing. It depends on where you are in your kind of, I guess you could call it your evolution, right? Your awareness. But a lot of us have been kind of catapulted out of the cycle of sort of healing or self-help. Um, it's a resonance that's not necessarily going to work any longer. And that is not to say that there isn't a powerful purpose for all of that work on the planet, because it's necessary, it's imperative, it's part of the journey. It's part of the awakening, healing and working on ourselves and looking at all of the ways in which we do the world, and choosing new ways. It's all so, 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 so important. However, in this evolution that humanity is in, there will come a moment where there will be a movement out of an energetic movement out of that continuous loop of fixing yourself, because you're starting to embody your soul. So what that means is that you're starting to disconnect from the idea that you are thoughts and emotions. and that you need to seek for something. Even seeking for a 5D world somewhere, or seeking for peace, seeking for heaven on earth, seeking for some, 5D way of being, that goes away when you realize that your soul doesn't give a shit, literally. Soul knows what's happening on an energetic level. It knows that there are dimensional fields that the physical body's taking it to. It knows that it's none of it. You understand? And so when that awareness starts to get anchored, Haruka, then the old looping of fixing and healing that which we believed ourselves to be, because it was what we were creating in our reality. So we needed to fix it. It makes perfect sense. We will find ourselves no longer resonating with fixing it. So instead, you're going to just watch yourself move through it. Okay. So let's say that you have limiting thoughts coming in, Haruka. Okay. So you've got these thoughts that just keep coming in of like, God, I'm just never going to get out of this. I don't have any money. I'm stuck in this. What it means to recognize in that moment, because embodying soul doesn't necessarily mean that the limiting thoughts are just going to go away. It means that the limiting thoughts are giving you another opportunity to deepen into the embodiment of soul. Another dark night of the soul. So what this idea means around shifting the lens from fixing and healing yourself to a deeper soul embodiment is, when you are encountering these moments that feel very out of control, and again, not everyone is here, and so this is not going to resonate with everybody. But if this resonates, let this sink in for a moment. The limiting thoughts come in, the patterns come in, whatever it is comes in, okay? Comes into your reality, you're in it. Instead of thinking to yourself, which is the loop that humanity is in, and they will start to rise out of that, is, how do I fix this? What do I need to do to get out of this? How do I, quote unquote, kind of heal it, right? Is this trauma from my past? Is this ancestral trauma? All of that. And there's nothing wrong with any of that, because that's necessary. Okay. I'm just going to state that again. It's necessary. I'm not saying this is not necessary. But start to maybe just question, what if I remembered that I'm not this? What if I remembered that I'm not what I am thinking I need to fix or heal? What if I actually don't need to fix this or heal this? What if this is just an opportunity for me to begin to practice on a deeper level the state of flow that I'm designed to be in with soul, as soul, which means that as things arise that I have grabbed so deeply in my life as truths, limiting thoughts, patterns, attachment styles, ways that you are, codependency, these things are arising, and I know that I'm soul embodied, and I know that I'm moving through an evolutionary shift in consciousness, and I know that everything is arising for me to more deeply embody my soul. And perhaps that means that I don't need to fix or heal it any longer, because I know that it's not me. Then what does that mean? What if it's gifting me an opportunity to learn how to just move through it without the old school attachment to it, as if it's me and I need to fix it? Again, not all of us are going to resonate with this, and it's okay. I'm just offering up a new way of perhaps starting to see your life, if it works for you. And it is where humanity's going as a collective consciousness. It's just, if we aren't there yet, it's not going to make sense. So, does this make sense? So when you have the patternings come up, the same looping thoughts come up, just ask yourself, okay, I'm soul. Maybe I believe that, maybe not. I'm always in movement, which means I'm in flow. What if it's true that we're stepping out of healing and fixing myself? Which doesn't mean you don't feel everything, because feeling has nothing to do with fixing or healing. And what if this is an opportunity for me to deeper embodiment of my soul? And I'm here to learn how to just let these things pass through. Which means that you don't respond to them in the same way. Which is why awareness is so important, because you're not responding to the limiting thoughts anymore. Okay, so what does that mean? It means when you have these limiting thoughts of being stuck in something, or I don't have enough money, right? I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. I'm so afraid to lose my job. I'm never going to find another job, or I'm a loser and I'm never going to be able to do ... You have to force yourself. This is why the lion energy is so powerful right now. You have to force yourself to try to see yourself as soul first, embodied, second, feeling, third, and telling yourself over and over again, this is transformation, this is alchemization, this is evolution. There's something happening here. There's something happening here. Something's working through me. These thoughts are getting louder and louder because something is working through me. Something is moving through me. I'm becoming more and more aware of these thoughts because these thoughts are showing me what I believed myself to be. And I know that I'm moving through it so that I can more deeply embody soul. I don't know how to do it, but I know that's what I'm going through. I have to trust that, because you can be on that cycle of healing yourself for the rest of your life, constantly searching for some sort of saving grace to feel better. And then when you feel better around one thing, you're going to find yourself screwed in another thing. And so there's this constant battling in life. And soul doesn't battle in life. It battles energies in terms of the darker, kind of lower frequencies that may come in and infiltrate, like thought forms. Hopefully this helps. You're going to get pulled back, Carl. This is why Carl says, I feel like I keep getting pulled back in any way. This is why you are such a badass. This is why you are incredible. You are beyond amazing. You deserve a freaking birthday party every day because you continue to get pulled back. Do you understand how insanely courageous you are? Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea how amazing you are? You have any idea? You're a miracle, because you keep getting pulled back and you keep having to force yourself through it. It's insane. Anyone that tells you just take this or do this and you'll be free, you'll be healed, you'll be fixed, does not understand the evolution in human consciousness. The more aware and awake you are, the more you will step out of this matrix. And the more that you step out of this matrix and this programming, the more the matrix and the program is going to try to pull you back in. I want you to imagine that you're in the arena and you're starting to recognize that you're watching Michael Jackson, and everything in the arena is going to try to mute you and try to put um, what's it called, where you can't see, um, whatever that is, over your eyes so you can't see. The whole arena is going to try to convince you that that you're not seeing what you're seeing, that you're not hearing what you're hearing, you're not feeling what you're feeling. It drives you crazy. You go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs because you're like, I know that I am not all of this. I know I'm not these thoughts. I know I'm not this behavior. I know I'm not these patterns. I know I'm not these I know I'm not this. Why the fuck I keep finding myself here. Right? It's like, what? And so the more you become aware, the more you are going to be tested and challenged to um, trust and embody soul, which means that you have to remember over and 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 over again that you're not the thought and the emotion. This is why feeling is the number one thing, because you can't know who you are without feeling what you're in. You can't know you and your soul without feeling emotion, without feeling energies, without recognizing thought. It's impossible. Anywho, you guys, ancient civilizations, on one level, they had an amazing experience on the planet, and maybe some of you were incarnated during that time. You walked the planet living in these civilizations that were just highly advanced, interacting and engaging with these most miraculous higher dimensional beings. Maybe you were the higher dimensional beings interacting with the humans. Either way, it happened in a really beautiful way, and it's not happening now. And so now we have to do it in a much more badassery way. And so that's what you're doing. And you know this, you remember this. We all do. We all do. We all remember this. We just don't remember. All of us are in the arena watching Michael Jackson. Every single human on this planet is in the arena. And every single human on this planet, no matter what role they're playing, whether they have dark energies in them, reptilian energies in them, whether they are awake, whether they are asleep, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Every single human, thank you for that super chat, Mike, was given a pamphlet of, you are now going to the Michael Jackson concert. Here's your ticket. And by the way, the moment you step in, you will have no idea where you are. Every human. It's impossible to come onto this planet without that awareness and knowingness. You cannot enter into the planetary field and into a physical body without that knowledge. Let that one sink in. And all we're doing every day, all day, is slowly, meticulously remembering who we are and what we're doing here. Now go watch Ted Lasso and eat a freaking pizza and get in an argument maybe with your children, and then forgive the people in your life that you're upset with, and love more, be kind and compassionate, do your best to, navigate what you're in with gentleness. And I will see you tomorrow for Untangled. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button, number one. That's the first thing you want to do before you leave. Hit the thumbs up button. The second thing you want to do is subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Third thing you want to do is go watch Ted Lasso if you haven't watched Ted Lasso on Apple TV. Fourth thing you want to do is give yourself a hug. Fifth thing that you want to do is give somebody else a hug. And the sixth thing you want to do is come to my retreat, April 19th to the 21st. The details are down below. Come join us. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow if you're here live. I'll see you tomorrow for Untangled. Pass this video along, you guys, to anyone. If you have any little inkling of like, wow, this person would benefit or maybe would resonate with this information, pass it along. My videos are not being passed along on YouTube right now. They're just not being seen. So if there's anyone that you are getting an intuitive hit that would enjoy this information, send it to them. I'm on fire. I had a dark night of the soul. I went to hell and back a couple days ago, and I'm so happy that I did because I feel like I'm back on a completely different level, and I'm so ready to teach more and to share more and to be here with you guys and to just fucking go. It's go time. And we are entering some of the most exciting times on the planet. So strap on your seatbelt, put your hands up, because we're going on a roller coaster ride, and it's going to get fun. I love you, love you, love you, and I'll see you tomorrow for Untangled. And thanks for hitting the thumbs up button. Appreciate it. Oh, lots of love, you guys.